Well, one, let's talk about when I committed.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. Honestly. I think I should take this one, honestly.
You want to?
I want to tell my side, and I want to hear your side.
Who should go first, you think? Should I tell my story? I don't know. No,
Well,
I think yours. I like yours.
Well, first off, like, I did not, like, back then, I did not want you to go there.
Right.
And I've always been blunt with you. Like, I will tell you whatever's on my mind. And that's why our relationship is so strong, but that's why we also bump heads. Because, like, you're the same way with me.
Yeah,
You'll tell me when I'm off, I'll tell you when you're off. And to me, like, you were totally, it was a biased opinion, of course. You were missing on that big time. So, like,
I don't know.
I didn't expect you to suit up in the black and gold by any means, but
right.
I mean, you were.
We talked about it though.
Yeah,
we both talked about it. We both.
You came to an Iowa game with me, bro.
Right.
Like, and
right. I took a visit there, and we really, our vision was like
play at the same school,
playing at the same school,
right,
and ultimately playing in the same city.
Dude, I remember like you would get like an offer from a school, or you would like get a letter or something,
right.
And then I was like, all right, I gotta go get them. It's like we talked about some crazy schools too. I mean, like Ohio State, Miami,
LSU,
yeah,
Oregon.
But yeah, I mean, we kind of just back to the commitment day. So yeah, I didn't want you to go there, of course. Like that was the one I was hoping you weren't, because I was seeing all the other schools on the board. I was like, look at that one. Like, oh, you can play in the horseshoe, dude.
Right.
Like. But then it was just.
But I didn't have the offers at the time yet, though, either.
Right.
At that time, all I had was Iowa State, and Nebraska, and this was right after my sophomore year. No, right after my junior year.
We did commit around the same time. I totally forgot about that.
It was right after my junior. You committed first, right?
I committed first.
Yeah, because you committed in November.
Yeah, that's right.
I committed in December.
That's not funny.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
How close was it to your birthday?
It was like December 3rd or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was just a regular day. I mean, nothing crazy going on or anything, but Coach Rhodes was visiting the school that afternoon.
Right. I got word.
It was like after it was in the morning, and you come up to me, and you're like, hey, don't tell anyone this. And I was like, what? And I thought you were going to say something stupid. And you're like, I'm committed to Iowa State today.
Right.
And I just remember being so pissed, and I was like, dude, no. And I was like,
I remember you didn't believe me at first.
Yeah, I didn't believe you at first, and then you said you hadn't even told your parents yet. And I was the first person you told that you were committing to Iowa State, and I still did not believe you until you called me after you met him, and then it was all over Twitter and everything, like that you had committed, and it's blowing up. And that's another reason too. Like, I feel like a lot of young athletes cannot fall into the trap of committing just for clout. Yeah. Because to be honest with myself, like, of course, like, I'm 16 years old, 15, 16 years old.
See
like,
that instant gratification.
You see, like, oh, yeah, so-and-so verbally committed to whatever school. And it's like, oh, I got offers too. I can do that. Mm-hmm. Like, you get more attention. And that probably played a part in it for me.
I think we both made the mistake of, we both wanted the gratification and to do it.
To have a label.
Yeah, to have that label and the acknowledgement, and because it was like, all right, let me finally commit so I know where I'm going, and this is where I'm going to, to set out a goal. Because it's hard to envision those goals when you don't even know where you're going to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we got to the point where how we were raised on being so loyal to our word and everything. We just did the first thing that really felt natural.
Yeah, it just felt right for me.
It felt right, and really, not to say it was a mistake, but, I think making that decision at that, doing how I did it, which I guess I can get into now, but yeah, so I just remember, like I said, I remember telling you that day, and I remember, like, walking down towards PE class, because I met him in Coach Anderson's office, and I was nervous as shit the whole time.
Yeah.
And then I remember Coach, like, talking to me. We were sitting in his office. He was talking to me and saying how much, he loved my film and thought of what I could do for Iowa State and for the future and everything. And I was like, yeah, coach, like, I would love to do that, and that's why I'm going to commit. He said, shut the fuck up. Slaps the chair. And I just remember, like, giving him a hug. And I just felt like, man, like, I was just like, I'm doing the right thing, you know?
It just felt right.
It just felt so right.
So did you, after you committed,
and
just to be totally transparent, like, how many times did you, like, because, of course, like, you know, that's the coach's job. And this is something you don't realize when you're younger, too. It's like, it's their job to sell you on everything. The experience is going to be perfect. Everyone's going to be super nice to you. Mm-hmm. And, of course, like, the reality, no matter what, is going to be different when you actually show up, even if it is the right fit.
Right.
But how often did you feel like, hey, am I doing the right thing? Like, of course, in the moment, it feels right. Mm-hmm. It felt right when I committed to Kansas State.
Right.
I was probably on the verge of committing to Iowa, too, because that felt right. Everything felt right when you're on the visit. But I guess, yeah, how often do you think over the next couple of years before signing day?
Well, let me take you a little bit back further to, like, why I committed at the moment. Iowa State was heading in the right direction at that time. They were 6-6, going to fourth, fifth straight bowl game, maybe. And it looked like they had a bright future. My brother had just enrolled there that fall. So I had a familiar face up there that I could know and trust. And then
so you've been on the campus your whole life.
And my dad and parents, and I've lived 30, 40 minutes away, you know, so it's hard not to. But it's also, I think a big part of that also plays into my experience that I had with Ohio State earlier. And I drove out to Ohio State, out to Columbus. Remember, right after a football game, it was probably like 9 hours driving through the night to go to the game. The game was a night game. And I remember going up to Coach Urban Meyer's his hotel room and meeting him. And, like, that being, like, the first, like, ultra figure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That
like
I was, like, shook.
Right.
On, like, this is someone I've heard about on TV, you know, and this doesn't seem like a real person. I was able to finally meet him, and that experience, you know, shook me. But at the same time, by the end of it, to wrap up that experience, he basically said, you know, I really like your film, and, you know, I think you're really talented, but I want to wait to see if we want to offer you. And that right there just, like, shook me because of, like, I did all this just for you to come out here, and for you to tell me that was kind of like a slap in the face, and, like, I felt disrespected in a sense. And so relating that relationship right there back to the one I had with Iowa State, where it was
you were actually wanted
when I was super wanted, sunshine and like, you know what I mean, like, everything was perfect. Every time I go up there, I got so much love and attention, and, you know, especially as a 15, 16-year-old, you know, you don't get that. You know, when do you really experience that, or, like, how do you know how to go about experiencing those things, you know, and getting the stardom and people recognizing you in the public eye and everything. So I think that's why I kind of, like, rushed into it. And then throughout the next 17 months or whatever it was until I signed, I obviously had, like, ended up having a bad year the next year, going 3-9. And like I said earlier, you know, I think two things. One, I valued my word so much because I feel like that's how I was raised. And, you know, I don't want anyone to ever disrespect my word or to think it's not worth anything or it's not valuable. I want, you know, when I speak, I want to be people to listen, to understand, and to
have the trust. Yeah.
To have the trust. And, you know, I value that so much with each and every relationship that I have. And another part of that is that my vision the whole time was never to go to Iowa State and to have a great career and that be it. My goal was to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter what school I went to, in a sense. You know what I mean? Because it's just a segue.
Right. That's your vehicle of choice,
right,
to your final destination.
And like you said, it was my segue, my vehicle of choice to kind of get to the NFL. So I knew that's where I wanted to go. So it didn't really matter to me. And I knew, or I believed in myself so much. Like, looking back, I was crazy, like on how much I believed in myself that I would go there and be able to completely change everything and be able to go on to like every game I went to, and I still do now. I guess is like I don't. I just never think about losing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's asinine in a sense, but like that's really what I believed as a kid. Like going to Iowa State, that I was going to go there and change the program to be this national championship program, winning program. And looking back, my record doesn't reflect that. But
I feel like you squeezed as much as you could out of it.
But yeah, I did. I gave the most I ever could to that university, to my teammates, and my coaches there, every single game. And I think what I did then is reaping more benefits now when you see the success of the program. Or at least I hope so, to see where it's going to in the future as well. So knowing that, you know, I may not be the one hosting up the trophies and all that stuff, which, you know, I was very fortunate to do my senior year, but to get all that stardom and fame, because, you know, for me at Iowa State, I was like comparing myself to the basketball players who were going to the Sweet 16 every year and playing these top 10 games and winning them, and you know, like that's what I dreamed about, and that's why I craved it. And I was like, damn, I never felt like I was doing it, but I was in a sense because I was still pushing myself every single day, and even though I didn't get the wins in the bowl game trophies and all that stuff, you know, it helped me put me in the position where I am today and the university to where it is now. So I think it ultimately, you know, kind of really helped form me to push me, you know,
Right.
kind of give me motivation.